Hey guys, Will here with CreateStudio, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to create a logo transition reveal inside of CreateStudio Pro. Alright, so let's take a look at what we got so you can see what you're going to be creating. Alright, so I've got two video clips in here already, just to kind of show you how this logo transition works, right? So I've got this ocean clip here, and then when I press play, the transition comes in, the logo's there, and then it wipes across and reveals the secondary clip that I have in there, right? So here's my first clip, the transition happens, right? Logo pops in, and then it transitions out. And then of course you can utilize this for a lot of different things that you may have for different project needs, but it's a really cool feature inside of CreateStudio Pro. So let's get started and show you how to create this from scratch. All right, so let's go ahead and delete this guy and delete all this, and let's get started. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to create a shape. So I'm going to go ahead and select my shape up here at the top and then select a rounded rectangle. All right, so I want to change the color of it. So I'm going to select it, come over here to my settings, go to color, and you can choose any color in the color wheels here. You can choose whatever color spectrum you like. I've got some favorites already saved, so I'm going to stick to the original that we're going to recreate here. So I'm going to choose this yellow to start with, and then I'm going to select this here, and let's make it a little bigger. Right now it's set to about 60. Let's go ahead and change it to about 124 or so, right? I want it to be bigger than my actual canvas size. So if I zoom out a little bit, you'll see that it's bigger than the canvas because I'm going to animate this guy across screen, right? And you'll see what that looks like here in a second. All right, so let's go ahead and start animating this and show you how this works. So with my rounded rectangle selected, you can put your cursor out here a little bit because sometimes when you insert keyframes, they can get a little too close to the start of your clip here, and it's kind of hard to drag them around or select them. So let's go ahead and move it off a little bit off the front of that clip there. I'll even zoom in a little bit here so you can see what's going on. And what I want to do is I could either add an animation from right here in the timeline. I could right click on my clip and click add animation, or for speed and efficiency, we can start using keyboard shortcuts, right? So I'm going to go ahead and on my keyboard press P for position and then R for rotation. You can see that both of the position and rotation have been selected inside the properties box. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and select my first keyframe for my position, and I'm going to start this off screen here, right? So I'm going to start it here, and then I'm also going to adjust the position so it starts with a little rotation up here, right? Just like this. All right, so now I'm going to go to my second keyframe, and I'm going to choose where I want it to end at. So I'm going to choose about right here. I'm not going to go all the way to halfway, but I'm going to go about a little ways in here, and then I'm going to tilt it forward with the rotation, right? I do want to make sure that my shape stays within the canvas, so it's not looking like this, right? It stays like this. All right. And so now I want to adjust the speed, right? So right now, if I play this back, it comes in, it's a little slow, right? So the farther apart your keyframes are, the slower your animation is. And the closer together your keyframe is, the faster that animation is. So we want this to happen pretty quickly, right? So let's see what that speed looks like. So that's looking pretty good. I'll pull it out just a little bit more. There we go. Looking good so far. So now I want to complete the rest of this animation so it goes and walks all the way across screen. So to do that, what I'll do is I'll select my second keyframe here. The same method I used to create a position and rotation keyframe, I'll do and add a third keyframe here. So I'll press P on the keyboard and then R for rotation. And then you can see it added a third keyframe there. So I'm going to select this keyframe, and then I'm going to go ahead and just adjust the same way I did it in the beginning here where I adjusted the rotation, and I'm going to move it forward. So let's just go ahead and do that. So I'm going to move it forward a little more, and then making sure I'm still in my canvas, the yellow still covers it. And then I'm going to go ahead and tilt it up a little bit more like this, and then make sure I drag it back down so it ends inside of the yellow is still covering the canvas. All right. And then I will adjust this keyframe down here in my track here so it plays a little bit faster. And so then if we go from here, you'll see that it starts to do this kind of cool walking effect, right? It's like bam, bam, walking across the screen, which is pretty cool. All right, so again, we have one more animation to create here, and that is going to be to finish it off, right? So all of the yellow is now encompassing the canvas. So I'm going to select this third keyframe, and then I'm going to, on my keyboard, press P and then R. So I've got my position and rotation keyframe added here, and then I will go ahead and select this, and then I'm going to move it across screen now. So I'm going to move it here so it's there, and then I will also tilt it down a little bit there so it's got a nice walking touch to it. And again, adjust the speed of your keyframe. So I want it to be pretty quick, so I'll drag it closer. And so now when I play this back, it's got a nice walking effect across screen. Pretty cool, right? So that is how you can create your intro walking effects for your shapes. Now we need to create an exit for it, right? We need to continue it. So right now it walks on from left to right. Now we're going to get it to go all the way across screen. So I'm going to go ahead and leave a little gap for our logo to pop in there. And I'm going to start about right here. So once I got my cursor in a good spot on the keyboard, I'm going to press P and then R for rotation. And I'm going to go ahead and set this first one is going to be where it's at right now. So I just kind of like to click the shape just to kind of reassure that it's setting the start point for that shape there. And then I'm going to select my second keyframe and I'm going to move it this way. And then I'm going to drag it this way. All right, so you're shifting. You can see it's going to work its way across the canvas now. Let's get it a little further there. There we go. And again, move your keyframe a little closer so that it will happen a little faster, right? So there we go. We've got our start to our first exit shape there. Now I'm going to work my way across again. So I'll select that second keyframe and then I will hit P and then R. So position rotation, and then select that third keyframe that was just created. And I'm going to go ahead and move it across screen a little more. And then I'm going to tilt it down a little bit, right? And again, make sure that your shape still covers the full amount of the canvas. See, mine is still a little off, so I may need to adjust my position here. There we go, just like that. All right, so you don't want to have any of the white canvas showing. You want it to be all yellow or whatever color it is that you're choosing to encompass the canvas as you're working your way across. All right, so then I'll drag my cursor here, or my keyframe, I should say, and then shorten it up so it happens a little faster. Let's see, make sure I'm on the right track here. There we go. And I've only got one more here. So again, let's select that third keyframe. On the keyboard, go ahead and select P and then R. Got your position rotation keyframe added here. So you got a fourth keyframe here. And then let's go ahead and move it off screen now. So I'm gonna go ahead and shuttle it off like this. And then I will go ahead and give it a little bit of a tilt there and then make sure I'm in the frame. All right, so let's see how I did there. So let's play this back. Nice. Okay, so we're looking pretty good. And yep, we're got the animation going across screen there. So now if I play this all back, comes on and then it walks off. So far so good. Now the cool thing is that I don't have to recreate this again, right? I can just duplicate this rounded rectangle, change the color, and then just adjust my keyframes to however I want the next shapes to work. So what I can do is let's go ahead and select our yellow rounded rectangle here. Let's go ahead and select duplicate and duplicate one more time. So we have two copies of it, right? So this second duplicate here that we just created, I'm gonna go ahead and go to my settings and go to color. And again, you can change it to any color you want, whatever works best for your project, but I'm gonna go ahead and choose this green that I've already favorited here. And then I'm gonna select the third rounded rectangle that I duplicated. And I'm gonna go to color here in the settings. And I'm gonna choose blue, right? I'm staying consistent with the original that we're trying to recreate here. All right, so now I've got three shapes and all my keyframes kind of set up already. Now the thing is, if I press play, everything's lined up together so you don't really see the different shapes kind of walking behind each other. So what I have to do is offset my shapes. So right here, the yellow is starting first, and then I'm gonna offset the green so the keyframes are kind of just in between each one of them here. So then the green will start and then the blue will come into play. All right, so now if I play this back, you'll see that we've got this cool walking transition, and then we'll have to adjust the exit keyframe so that it happens opposite, right? In the beginning, the yellow starts and then the green and then the blue. In the end though, we're gonna have the blue start walking first and then the green and then the yellow. So in order to do that, let's go ahead and get our logo in first so we can start working with some timing of that, right? So I'm gonna go over here to my media. I've got my walking logo and I'm gonna go ahead and just drag that onto my canvas here. All right, so let's go ahead and pull this here so we can see it. And the first thing we're gonna do is, it's a little large, so we're gonna need to resize it. So let's go over here to our scale and let's go ahead and make this about 20 just to get it down to size there. And let's go ahead and actually trim this down so it fits the scene that we're working with. Okay, So now we've got our logo in here, but the thing is it doesn't really have any movement, right? It needs some motion. So let's give it some motion animation. So I'm gonna select my CreateStudio logo here. I'm gonna go over here to motion, and I'm gonna keep it on my in, and for my position, I'm gonna choose right. All right, so as you can see, like it kind of gives it this nice little slide in to the right there. Now I do wanna go to my advanced settings. So with my right and motion animation there selected, I'll go to advanced settings, and I'm gonna adjust the rotation. So I'm gonna make it about -26, all right? And that's just gonna give it a little bit of a rotation as it comes in, right? A little bit of that small detail really comes a long way, all right? So once I got that, I'm gonna add an out, right? So with my CreateStudio logo still selected, come over here and select out in your motion animation sets here. And then on position right, we're gonna do the same thing, except on the advanced settings for the out, instead of being -26, we're gonna make it about 34, all right? So now, I'm gonna kind of open this up just a little bit. Now he rolls in and then he will roll out. So pretty cool. Now we do want it to kind of follow the blue shape as it comes in. So it might be okay as this, let's see. Bam, there we go. And this is where we can choose and start moving our out animations, right? So we'll start doing this about right here. All right, so find a good spot that you want to walk out your animation for your logo, and that's where we're gonna start adjusting our keyframes. So I'm gonna move the blue. I'm gonna click, if you click in the line, I'll zoom in here a little bit more so you can see, is that I can then, right here's this little line. If I left click and hold and move it, I can start dragging it this way. And then I'll left click and drag these guys to center them up. And then the same with this guy. All right. So now you'll see that it starts to walk off a little better. Now I just have to realign the green and the yellow keyframes so that they offset all the way down. So I can do this, drag them right here in between. They're in between these two at the start of this one. And then I'll drag these guys. So it's the same here. And then I will drag these guys so they're offset right there. And then the yellow is almost in line. We could kind of leave it alone, but let's just kind of give it a little bit of an offset here. So let's drag this way, and then we'll drag these guys right here, and then this guy like that. So now let's play it from the beginning and see how that looks and see if we did it right. So play, we got it walking on, got the logo coming in, and then it rolls off. All right, so that is a really cool way that you can create a logo transition inside of CreateStudio Pro, right? And you can always tweak these a little more for timing. If you want the logo to stay there longer, then you could increase the space in between here before it rolls off. But it comes in and then it rolls off, right? So the cool thing is now what I can do is I can group this and then show you how it works with the video clips. So let's go ahead and select everything in our timeline. So I could either left click and drag a box around everything, or I can hit Command A on my keyboard and then I can click Create Group here. And let's rename this and let's call it Logo Transition. Transition. There we go. All right. So now we've got a master logo transition group made. And then of course I could easily change out change the colors here. I could change my logo, which makes it really easy. Which is really cool. So if I play this back, there you go. Logo comes in and then fades out. All right. So now let's see what that looks like with some video clips, right? So what I could do is I can drag in those ocean clips I had in the beginning. So let's go to my project media here. Let's drag in ocean clip 1 into my canvas, right? And so we've got this guy, and obviously he's a little long here, so let's trim him down and let's bring him underneath. So our logo is going to come in, and then we want to reveal. It's going to start to reveal about right there. So what we can do is bring in our ocean 2 and then bring him down. And then let's go ahead and just trim him down as well. It's a little long there. All right, so bring him in, and then let's see what that looks like here. There we go, right? So it starts off with this ocean clip, the transition comes in, logo, and then it reveals out, right? So that is how you can create a a walking transition inside of CreateStudio Pro. Hopefully you got some really cool quick tips out of here. Can't wait to see what y'all create, and I'll catch you on the next tutorial.